Would you like to see what?
Also late.
Just treat it as a sort of.
There we go.
Then what if we get one?
Ah.
Yeah, so we're gonna go with the 40.
friends. It's a kind of small group tonight, probably because my statement last week. I'm calling to order the 22nd Senate session for the 53rd Senate, starting with the Pledge of Allegiance. So all who are willing and able, please stand. Ready, begin. I
Pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous of the native tribes. We recognize the indigenous people as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and that significantly, our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. Now we're going to be moving on to swearing of associates or senators. So I know who needs to be sworn in. Seeing none, we're going to move to beginning roll call. Can the clerk call the roll?
Alrighty, Chair Bakari. Senator Barrett.
Here.
Senator Cole Johnson. Senator Winston. Senator Tabib. Chair Osborne.
Here, and Senator Tabib's online.
Chairman Auntie.
Here.
Senator Hill. Senator Melchior.
Here.
Senator Schumer.
Present.
Senator Snyder.
Here.
Chair Taylor.
Here.
Senator McAllister Johnson. Chair Trout.
Present.
Senator Davis. Senator Reese. Present. Associate Senator Rivera. Present. Senator Barron.
Here.
Associate Senator Camber. Senator Lasser.
Present.
Associate Senator Alvarez. Senator Pickerel.
Here.
Senator Yankowski. Senator Buckner.
Present.
Associate Senator Ozor.
Here.
Associate Senator Leggett. Associate Senator Miller. Associate Senator Myers. Associate Senator Berg. Senator Huizenga. Senator Vaughn. Associate Senator Turner. Associate Senator Morgan. Senator Milka.
Present.
Senator Chansey. Senator Rivera. Associate Senator Bashara. And Senator Romkey.
Thank you. We're going to move on to consent agenda. Sorry, I'm just not to this agenda. Seeing none, we're going to move on to gallery and
I motion to put the peace off and constitution on the agenda.
do I hear?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Ayes have it. Any other changes to the agenda? Seeing none, we're going to move on to gallery input. Is there anyone from the gallery who wishes to speak at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to our guest presentation.
where I stand. Can you hear me? My name is Jessica Kramer. I'm with Facilities Management. I go by she, hers. My role in facilities is in the campus planning team. I am an environmental graphic designer and a landscape architect. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about the campus-wide planning committees that we have that affect physical spaces and physical improvements on campus, and then specifically some facilities-focused committees. These committees are ones that you can join. I know some ASCSU members are on some of these already, but to give you information about all these types of committees and what they do, as well as coordination with facilities. So if you have ideas about physical improvements or concerns, voicing them tonight, but then also how you can get involved in coordination with different people in facilities. We are a pretty large department and a lot of people often don't know where to go. So the first one I'm going to start with is the master plan committee. This is probably one of the largest committees we have, and it really has to do with really strategic look at where we want to place new buildings, additions to buildings, possibly take away buildings on campus, and a really strategic long-term look. These are things that may take, years, decades in the making. We've identified different parking requirements where we may want to put parking garages, parking lots, etc., bike trails. A lot of what we also do is coordination with stormwater management, floodplain issues, and so this committee has on it a lot of deans, department heads, student affairs, broad representation from across campus to really strategically identify how and where campus should grow from a building and, I would say, large infrastructure standpoint. As I mentioned, the master plan committee makes recommendations for also where open space should be, if we want to add it. Something that's a really good example of the master plan committee is in terms of where we want to keep open space, where we want to build buildings. When an on-campus football stadium was being proposed, there was a lot of questions why we didn't put it in what we call the Great Green or the floodplain or the ion fields, and we said there's all those reasons, or significant reasons, as well as we want to maintain the view shed to the foothills. It's a big thing for those of us who like to live in Colorado and maintain those views. We have setbacks, we have building height requirements, so we don't also prevent people from having vistas to the foothills. Roads and access, transit, removal of different structures. Those are all the things the master plan committee looks at. So this is the most current master plan for Main and South Campus. We have one for foothills as well. It might be hard to see, but the orange blocks, rectangles, shapes that you see on their existing buildings, red are any new or future buildings or structures that we foresee. And again, these are ideas, things shift and fluctuate, but based on how we talk about academic mission of each of the colleges, the different missions of student affairs, all the different organizations on campus trying to find the highest and best use for the limited land that we have and what makes the most sense. The next committee is the Physical Development Committee, the PDC. I like to say, they basically look at everything from the building exterior out. Signage, lighting, site furnishings, trash receptacles, newspaper racks. Something that came up a few years ago that probably was debated the most in PDC was whether to allow logos on buildings. Say the Nutrien building, were we going to allow Nutrien's logo to be on buildings? And there was a lot of consternation about that, pros and cons back and forth, and there's a lot of discussion of whether we should allow that. The PDC ultimately decided, no, that's not the campus experience we want to have for people on our campus. Also transit, and then oversight of any public art and the University Public Art Committee. And then the space committee, which actually looks at interior space on campus and how that's assigned. A lot of times departments, groups need a larger space, or they want to all consolidate into one space in a building, trying to shuffle people around and determine what spaces make the most sense, how spaces are being used. A really in-depth audit of departments might say they're using a space for something. We do an audit to really make sure it's being used that way. We're really tight on real estate on this campus, so we have to use pretty much every square foot that we've got. The space committee also works in conjunction with the classroom review board anytime it has to do with classrooms, academic instruction. Then the inclusive, physical and virtual campus committee. There's virtual inclusivity and physical inclusivity. The physical part of the committee looks at all the different ways we can have inclusive spaces. We created the inclusive design standards that we have on campus now for all gender restrooms, lactation rooms, reflection rooms, etc. We make sure that those standards are upheld whenever a new building goes into place or a remodel happens. As I mentioned, the inclusive physical design standards include all of these, all gender restrooms, which have over 300 across our campuses now, break rooms, changing tables for children, automatic door operators, because ADA does not actually require automatic door operators in building code. CSU has long had a standard that when you build a building, you have to have one on every entry, every major entry, not necessarily service entries. On restrooms, at least one on classrooms, and then we also have standards, and the standard is that vertical plate for best accessibility and inclusivity for a variety of reasons, which I'm sure you're all fairly aware of. And then if a remodel wants to put it in, we make sure that it meets certain standards that we've put into place. We also have a standard for no automatic flushing toilets or dryers in all gender restrooms and accompanying signage, and that's for sensory disorders. As the committee's kind of gone along, we've learned best practices of what's working, what's not working, what more inclusive spaces need to be added. So if you're familiar with the online map, maps.colorado.state.edu, if you go to the inclusive resources category, all of these different categories of adult changing tables, all gender restrooms, and so forth are shown. You can click on each one of them or any category you want. It'll pop up. It'll tell you the room number. For the lactation rooms, reflection rooms, a couple others, it'll actually show you a photo of the space and if there's a way to necessarily schedule it. Then the University Public Art Committee, any work of art that's in a public place, which pretty much is everything outside of someone's office, has to be approved by this Public Art Committee, so that we ensure that it meets a certain level of criteria, that it's structurally sound, not going to fall over on anybody. If it's an exterior sculpture, it can withstand exterior conditions. They review the artists, make sure it's a high level quality of art. As well, the majority of the art on our campus is actually funded through the Colorado Art and Public Places program. So they require that if the state funds any building or addition to a building, such as chemistry research or Johnson Family Equine Center, that 1% of the construction costs of that project goes towards public art. So the two photos that you see on this slide, the top are those illuminated globes on the main entry side of chemistry research, and then on the bottom photo shows two horse heads and strapped metal. That's at the front of the Johnson Family Equine Hospital. Those are both examples of the 1% Colorado Art and Public Places program. And then we have a couple of facilities-focused committees that are overseen by specifically facilities groups. One is the Tree Advisory Committee, and through this committee, CSU's been designated a tree campus higher education site, and that group essentially ensures the protection of trees around the oval. They ensure that we have a sustainable campus, that we're not planting just one type of tree. They've been very proactive in seeing when the Ips beetle's been coming, the ash borer, those type of things, to really be on top of that and make sure we have a safe, sustainable, ecological tree campus is what they would call it. And then that committee also hosts the Arbor Day celebration. This year that's on April 19th. And they provide education and also a tree planting opportunity that students can get involved in. And I believe what they're doing this year is they're planning to plant trees on the east side of campus along College Avenue near the field house. Try to move that around each year to different places where we actually need trees. So if you are interested, watch out for information about that. You can just, I don't think you have to do anything to sign up. You can just show up and be willing to help plant a tree. The other one is the Pollinator Friendly Campus Committee. They really focus on obviously attracting and enhancing our landscape spaces so that we're attracting pollinators. They were responsible for putting in quite a few pollinator gardens and beds around campus. One of which is the pollinator bed that's near Clark A. And it's my understanding that there has been a commitment to keep that pollinator bed. I think it's going to be removed and redone because that northeast entrance to Clark is going to be made accessible, so they need to put in ramps and whatnot, but the pollinator garden is going to be put back in there. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about tonight was just how, if you're interested in physical improvements or a physical space project on campus, how you can help coordinate with facilities. We're really the first place to check with in terms of making sure what you want to do, isn't going to conflict with something in the master plan, so that 5 years from now you spent money on something and the university tears it out. That there's not utilities that aren't going to be in the way, that we can help direct you to the right people within facilities of different concerns that you have or things that you would like to see, so that you can really get a really good understanding of the ins and outs and some of the constraints that might happen, but really work with you to try to find a way to get to the goal of your project and put together a facility is really good also at putting together a really real world cost estimates of what something like that might really cost. And we often like to say the earlier you come to us, the more we can help you. And a lot of times, I know ASCSU has funds, but sometimes physical project costs such a tremendous amount that a lot of times we can help direct also to UFAB and ATFAB and like to see those funds coordinated so that you can actually make the project implemented and successful. And then this last slide just really lists all the different people that you can go to really, if you've got questions about master planning, go to campus master planner, campus planner. You can, if you have an interior remodel space, or you say want to add an automatic door operator to a building, remodel and construction services is the best to help really figure out how we can get that done. Landscape design projects would be the university landscape architect. And then if you have any public art questions or you have any questions about these committees, I'm always happy to answer any emails. Even after this meeting, if something pops up and you didn't get a chance to ask it tonight, I'm happy to converse with you more. So feel free to shoot over an email. So with that, any questions?
Associate Kimber.
Hello. So we do have some things that we were wanting to work on with facilities. I think this is a great time to talk about it. I have been working really closely with the Accessibility Caucus and the Disability Club on campus. We were actually thinking over spring break, we would be working on a resolution to basically take this stance that repairing bricks or replacing bricks with more bricks is not acceptable. A lot of students even students who don't have mobility related disabilities have had a lot of issues. And so it sounds like there's a couple different committees that you mentioned that would be good to the Physical Development Committee. And as far as inclusion, you mentioned the Physical and Virtual Space Committee, and then the Remodel and Construction Services. So I guess my question is like, where should we start?
Start with the University Landscape Architect, David Hansen. You can help talk about what your ideas are, help bring it forth. What we usually do is like work within facilities and get other advocacy groups, and then we eventually have it fully vetted, have a cost estimate, have an idea of what the plan is to take it up to the PDC, to the Physical Development Committee. But I think if you start with David Hansen to talk about what you like, he can talk about pros and cons, that type of thing, and how to strategically think about that. There has been discussions off and on how much of the Center Avenue Mall, if any of it's going to get damaged with the Clark construction and what they're going to replace it with. So now is a very, very strategic time to talk with them about that. I think also if you come and talk to the Inclusivity Committee, which you can get a hold of me because I'm the co-chair of that committee, then you can voice your concerns over this. The committee always likes, the Inclusivity Committee, I call it for short, it's too long of a committee name, likes to hear concerns so we can understand what and why and how. And so it's something we help track. So even though the committee, and we can help, be an advocacy group, we don't have funds per se, but we do often we have a good relationship with the vice president of university operations to make a plea and say, we've talked with the students about this, and these are the issues, and we, as this committee, agree with this. So I feel like, and that's under the Office for Inclusive Excellence. So I feel they have a very good advocacy. The Vice President of University Operations will listen to that.
Okay, and then my next question is kind of related. So do each one of these committees either have someone who's dedicated to like ADA compliance, or does like inclusivity committee play a role in all the other committees as far as like making sure that those needs are addressed and concerned in design?
For the most part, it's kind of baked into each of those. And because all of it comes through facilities, because we like to start with facilities A, I'm probably the inclusivity advocate. That's not my title, but within facilities. And so often those things come to me and I make sure that they go to the right person. And then also we have a building department that knows from an accessibility requirement codes, because the thing is with those bricks, if they get to be over a certain amount of distance where they're sinking, it actually will not meet accessibility and we are required to repair it. The building code department would know things like that. So that's why you want to come to facilities, because they will be able to help point out, help make the case for you if they can. But I'm thinking that part of the issue is it's potentially a tripping hazard and you can't have that with accessibility.
Well, and even for students who don't have mobility needs, it's a huge, and then the repairs where you've seen it patched, I think those areas are actually the most problematic. Anyways, I think I don't have any other questions, so with that, I yield.
Any other questions? Chair Trout.
So just really quickly, I kind of want to ask, in terms of, so I'm chair of the accessibility caucus, and one of the big projects we were working on was looking around the door buttons around campus and seeing which ones were working consistently, which ones were not. And we've been having, one of the things that we were wanting to look into more is if there's a site where like that information, or somewhere where that information can go to, of like if a student files in what's the word, like a work order in for it. Is there anywhere where that information is compiled? So I don't know if any of this questioning is making sense.
No, it makes complete sense, so that you can kind of see, you can see if a work order has already been put in, and maybe also see how many people have potentially complained about that as a matter of importance. No, we don't, unfortunately. I think this is something though to come to the inclusivity committee about. And then I can also raise this through facilities management, because I also work on a lot of signs on campus. And I've been advocating for a long time to actually have a sign up with a QR code that tells people how to report something that's wrong like that, because most people don't know how to even do that. It's not transparent. I'm still working on that, but I think as part of that system, we might be able to find a way to put that in there and see, so that you know that you're not duplicating efforts and a work order has already been put in. So I think it would be good, and I can get a hold of you, or if you get a hold of me, then I can get you onto the agenda, just like you, for the inclusivity committee, talk about that, and then I can also route that to we will have a new associate vice president for facilities here in the coming months, so that's something to route to them. So
Awesome, thank you for that. I yield.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Nope. Okay, thanks for having me tonight. And like I said, if something pops up later, feel free to email me. I'm happy to answer any question that I can.
Richard, next on the agenda is executive reports. Does anyone from the executive branch who wishes to report, please come down?
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Silverhart. I use the he series of pronouns, and I am the ASCSU Vice President for 2 more months. Counting down the days. No, I'm kidding. I wanted to share 3 quick things. So first off, I had a meeting with Letty Madrigal, Madeline Camberg, and Enoch Mananti today to talk about bringing back ASCSU Culture Review. As you can tell, there were 2 members from exec and 2 members from Senate, so we're really trying to make this an interbranch force. So if you're interested in coming to ASCSU Culture Review, please fill out the when to meet, which was just posted on the general chat earlier today. I'm also going to be posting the SFRB survey for this week, in addition to information about the ASCSU group fitness class that my intern Lauren Johnson is leading. The SFRB survey this week is about the Career Center and Student Resolution Center, both of them asking for mandatory increases to upkeep with increasing costs with salary, materials, and so on. We voted this week, but I'm forgetting what we voted on because there's a lot of things piling up. We didn't vote on the UCA, we voted on the WGAC. They did not ask for a fee increase, and we agreed with that. We voted yes on passing their budget. We are waiting to vote on the UCA, in addition to the Career Center and the Student Resolution Center, which will be after spring break. Lastly, like I mentioned, there is going to be an ASCSU group fitness class, I believe on March 26th. I will be sending out a survey with information about that. There is a question in the survey specifically about accessibility and accommodations. The group fitness instructor has done accommodations before. That is something that the rec center is pretty familiar with. So if you had concerns about that, feel free to fill that out in the survey or approach me or Lauren about fulfilling those needs. I know some exec members are super excited. A lot of the front desk staff already goes to Lauren's group fitness class. It's a cardio kickboxing class. So we are really excited to host that, and I will pass it over to Maron.
Hi everyone, my name is Maron. I'm the Director of Traditions. I've come in here a couple of times to talk about some of the events we have planned for the semester. But I'm going to give another rundown just because we do have a lot going on. And so there's a couple of people in here who are part of these committees. But please mark your calendars for May 2nd. We're going to do a big Feast of the Food Truck event with the back office. We did it last year. And it was a really successful event. We gave out a lot of free food to play and plates of food. And we also had just like yard games and a student versus staff basketball game. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. May 2nd is that if you want to come and invite some of your friends. The other event that we're planning is the inaugural ball. So every year ASCSU does kind of like a closeout ceremony for us all just to celebrate everything that we've done in ASCSU. And so that's going to be on May 1st. And so instead of Senate, it's going to start at 6:30 that day. And then everyone a part of ASCSU is invited. We're trying to figure out if we can do like +1s and stuff, but it's going to be fun if we're able to bring our friends and stuff. And so we chose the theme. It's going to be spring symphony, so kind of like a disco, like garden fairy theme. We don't have a name for it yet, but it's going to be super cute and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we have members of Senate on that board. And so if you're interested in helping us plan, just let me know and I'll be able to add you to those group chats. The next thing I want to talk about is the Revival Rail Jam. We've had a lot of comments about like comments and concerns about the event and just like what it's really about. And so I can just say this right now that we had our big marketing day yesterday. And so we posted it on the Instagram and as of right now, it's like the second most liked thing on our Instagram, which is really cool. And so it seems to have a lot of traction just from different students and like the Snow Rider and Phi Kappa Theta like communities that we're a part of. And so that's been super exciting. We also have, I heard that there was a resolution written the other day. It was sent to me this morning. So I just wanted to come and like talk about exactly what the Rail Jam Revival is going to be. And so basically back in 2008, 2009, there was a campus rail jam tour, and so someone went around the country just like bringing the event to different campuses. And Boulder and CSU were the 2 schools in Colorado chosen for this event. And so it garnered close to like 2,000 students from CSU at this event. And if you want to look up on YouTube, type in like CSU Rail Jam event, and like you can see the support that it gained back in 2008, 2009. And so Last year, the previous director of traditions tried bringing it back, and because of some contract issues, it wasn't able to go through. And so this year, my position, I was like, okay, so I know that this is something that we have to do. And so we started working with our vendors. We've been having meetings with the snow riders since like September. And so it's been a really long process, but we're proud to say that it's going to be happening on March 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. on the LSU West Lawn. I also just wanted to give like a rough event like agenda so everyone knows exactly what the event is about. So basically, it's going to be a big skiing and snowboarding event where 30 students will be able to compete in the competition to show off their skills in snowboarding or skiing. And it will also be an opportunity for students who have never done snow sports to get their introduction to a big part of CSU culture. I give tours with admissions, and one of the biggest questions, or one of the most frequent questions that I get from parents and from students interested in CSU is, where's this closest ski resort? Or is skiing and snowboarding like huge on campus? And something that we've been like trained to say is Eldora is the closest ski resort, and skiing and snowboarding is like huge on campus. And so just from that experience, I was like, okay, so like this is going to be a really big event, and like students at CSU do care about it. I personally have lived in Colorado my entire life and have never been skiing or snowboarding. And so this isn't really an event like I planned for myself or for any one of my friends, but I knew that this would be a great introduction to the sport because there's a lot of financial barriers, and this would be such a great opportunity for students who have never experienced it before to be able to come out onto the West Lawn and see something firsthand, to be able to watch and like participate in this event that we're reviving after over 14 years. And so that's what the event is going to be like. And so for the rundown of the event, we're going to have a men's category, we're going to have a women's category. We're also going to have an open category for anyone who identifies as non-binary. We're also going to have like a general category at the end for anyone who wants to sign up last minute to join, as long as they sign a waiver. And if anyone was able to look at the flyer that we do have out, if you are interested in submitting like a video to participate, you get to like pick if you're like a beginner or if you're a professional at what you're doing. Like, we're accepting all types of people, but we just want to know what kind of skier or snowboarder you are. So we're not like taking an amateur first day, and we're not like hurting people like on the West Lawn without like proper support there. And so that's what the event is going to consist of. We also have tabling opportunities for people to get educated on different skiing and snowboarding like events that are taking place across campus. So the snow riders are going to be tabling, free ride is going to be tabling. We also have Ski CSU coming out, so we can educate students on their services of like getting students to different resorts around campus. And so it's going to be an educational opportunity, but also like a really cool opportunity for all of us to come together as a community and to support the snow riders who are like sitting in the gallery today, and also Phi Kappa Theta and just like the rest of the ASCSU community. Additionally, we're also going to have food trucks there. And so if you're not interested in any of this, you can just, get some food from some local food trucks. We're also going to have a DJ and just like fire pits. And so it's going to be a great opportunity for all of us to come out and just relax with like right after spring break and just come together as a school. And so I asked Ava already, but this is like open to Q&A if you have any questions. And I also want to let everyone know that we do have a meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the conference room if anyone has any additional concerns that you want to bring up that I can't answer today. Yes.
I think this sounds pretty cool, but I honestly just forgot, what day is this again?
Thursday, March 21st from 5 to 8 p.m. So it's a Thursday we come back from break.
And then my last question is, did this happen like before 2009? Like, or was that just the first time we did it?
Yeah, so it happened in 2008 and 2009.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I yield.
Thank you, Associate Camber.
Okay, you did mention this was open to people who were new to ski and snowboarding, but then you also mentioned that it would require a video for liability reasons. Can you clarify then if or what the scenario is as far as what the experience level and who this is really open to?
Yeah, for sure. So for the first three categories, the men's, women's, and open category, those are going to be for video submissions only. And so this is like a serious competition. Like, we're going to have like a first, second, and third place winner for each category. And so for that, like, we do want a video submission, and like you could be an amateur, but like you still have that video submission that you made over spring break, or just something that you had on deck that you're able to submit for us. And so that's just because we want to make sure we put on a good competition, and like everyone has like that proof of like, I've done this before, I'm not like a beginner. But that second category we're talking about with the open is like, I've never skied or snowboarded, but if I'm feeling really confident that day and I'm like, I want to be a part of that general category, I'll sign up, I'll sign that waiver, acknowledging that like, hey, like I know I'm a beginner, but I still want to sign up for this and like give this an attempt. So that's why we have that second category, or that third category open to everyone else.
Okay, so we have two separate things. And then, are you giving away awards, prizes, or anything for the winners?
We're still trying to-
Certificates, anything like
Yeah,
that?
we're still trying to figure that out, but we have agreed that they're gonna get like a snow rider like hoodie. Yeah, I'm looking at Ty for verification. Yeah, so they're gonna get a snow rider hoodie and then just, we have a couple of grab bags that we have, and so they're just like fun little things that we can, give out day of, filled with like stickers and hoodies and some other things that we're probably gonna give the first place winner from each category. And for general, that's just, there's no winners for that.
Okay, you mentioned, tailing opportunities, mentioned ski CSU, snow riders, and then there's a third one you mentioned?
Yes, CSU Free Ride. It's the other skiing and snowboarding organization on campus. And then I'm still waiting for confirmation from other groups, but we invited Rams Against Hunger to also table so students can learn about other or other opportunities on campus. And then we're also hearing about we had a meeting right before this, so we have some other groups that we want to reach out to see if they also want to table.
Okay, and then, here's my tough question. All right, this was marketed as a campaign promise. It will be happening during election season. Will there be people there campaigning?
No. I don't know exactly, I don't know if the list, I don't know who's like campaigning, but there shouldn't be anyone campaigning there. No? Soon, oh yeah, so. Okay,
Okay, but tentatively, no one should be campaigning at this event. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay, great. That's all my questions. Thank you. I yield.
Yes, I just have a couple questions about funding. First off, $5,000 of funding came from ESOP. Is there any concern of parents with impropriety of such a large amount of money going to an event co-hosted by ASCSU?
Yeah, so Ashton is giving his report right after this, so he can talk about that a little bit more than I can. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I know he knows definitely more about it than I do, and so I feel like he can give you a direct answer, but we're also, if we can't answer this tonight, you can also come tomorrow. I think you're invited 9 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah.
Also, on top of funding, on the budget spreadsheet, I see $825 coming from a source called Traditions Forever Green.
Yes.
I was just wondering if you could clarify what the Traditions Forever Green funding is.
Yeah, of course. And so has anyone in Senate done tabling before? Yes, no? Yeah. Okay, so at the beginning of the school year, we actually ran out because everyone loved them, but every year the Forever Green t-shirt design is something that we do. So basically we order 5,000 of the, or we have $5,000 allocated to order some of the shirts for ourselves. But the Forever Green t-shirts are given out to all the first year students, and ASCSU just orders some of it because we are the ones who choose the student design. So we order the shirts and we give it out during tabling during usually the first semester just because we run out. And so we ordered all the t-shirts and we have like $800 left over from that. And so I was like, I think this is a great opportunity for first year students to learn about another big tradition about from our campus.
Awesome. And then finally, one of the big concerns raised is the ecological environmental impact of hosting an event using over 10 tons of ice that's going to be turned to fake snow.
Yeah.
And I know that carbon offset by planting trees is often a solution. Is there any money dedicated to that at this point in time?
Yes, so another thing I wanted to clarify is it's only 10 tons, so not over 10 tons. And then also, we have Sophia here to talk a little bit more about what our plans are, but we do have I can just send everyone like a big spreadsheet of what we've been doing to plan for this event. But sustainability was one of the bigger things that we want to focus on. And so, yes, we will be donating money to the Arbor Day Fund that CSU does. And then on top of that, we are planning to participate in all of the Earth Month events that the Department of Environmental Affairs has planned for April. And so one of them is a big park cleanup day. So the snow riders, everyone at the back, everyone wave. Snow riders, Phi Kappa Theta, and like other people in ASCSU will be going to the big park cleanup day just to assist the department and make sure that the different parks around Fort Collins are clean, and yeah, we're doing our part.
Thank you. Yield.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much. So I just want to extend this one last time, but we do have a meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the conference room if you have any more concerns, or if you can't physically be there, direct your questions to Madeline or Kevin, and they'll be there just to ask us additional questions about the event. And then on top of that, we are still looking for volunteers for the food truck event and the eyeball event. And so if you're interested in any of that, can I see a show of hands? I feel like we have our committee, but just wanted to ask one more time. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a good night. And then also Sophia's here just to talk a little bit more about like her side of things and her executive words.
Hi, my name is Sophia Hiller, and I'm the Deputy of Sustainability for ASCSU. And so I'm just here to speak a little bit more on that ecological impact that we were just discussing when it comes to Rail Jam. So I have been working closely with Midon and the whole Rail Jam team to try to mitigate the impact a little bit. And so one idea that I came up with was a carbon offset, but we wanted to make sure we didn't do something that was just like purchasing like a place to plant a tree in like some other random country or something like that, because we don't think that would actually be very impactful to our students. So we are going to be contributing to the Arbor Day Fund here on campus. So for those of you who don't know, I mean, it actually was in the presentation you just saw earlier. There is a committee on campus that every year during Arbor Day plants trees. And so we're just going to be contributing to that fund to help them get more trees that can beautify our campus and also help sequester carbon in our own area. And so if anyone has any questions about that, I am definitely here to answer those.
Kimberly.
This is probably more related, maybe Braxton's probably a better person to answer this question. We've heard some concern that Senate has had every opportunity to be a part of this planning. I have not yet heard of when the committees that for the regular planning of this event, it's not been published nor spoken about when that meets. Can any of y'all speak to how to be when these meetings happen and why they weren't made maybe more readily available to Senate?
Absolutely. Evening, everybody. My name is Braxton Dees. We haven't had the pleasure to meet yet. I've served as chief staff here at ASCSU. Yeah, so this event, as we know, is originating out of the executive branch. So of course, it's going to be more executive focused. Myself and a few others have come down here on numerous occasions to kind of give you small updates as we came along this process. And so if anybody wanted to be involved in that, I welcome those outreach, and we can see how we want to, how we can incorporate your involvement in those processes. Yeah.
Okay, so would you say then that if a senator emailed concerns, that was probably a reasonable amount of outreach if the meetings were not made public?
I would say that if a senator emailed concerns, and the person that they're emailing addressed those concerns, that suffice unless the senator followed up. If the senator specifically asked to be part of the planning committee, then we can talk about that as well. Does that answer your question?
I think so. We'll leave it there for now. I yield.
Thank you.
Right. Hey, everyone. Kevin, what was your question again about the fund?
Specifically, was there any concern about a sense of impropriety in spending $5,000 or allocating $5,000 from ESOP to an event that's so heavily involved with ASCSU?
Yeah, that's one of the things we discussed in the ESOP meeting that week. Our main focus was on, since there's so many student orgs being involved in this process, that's one aspect that we leaned into funding. And like, I can't have an opinion because I'm the chair, so I have to be neutral, but that's what the board decided. And then aside from that, there's a large sum coming from snow riders themselves. So just having a large co-sponsorship, working with a lot of student organizations, that's pretty much why ESOP started from it. Any other questions about like the finance and stuff? And then I have like one more thing. Okay.
Okay, since we have you here, we might as well discuss this. While we're talking about ESOP funding, there wasn't a concern at all about funding will not be approved or contributed or.
Point of order, Madam Speaker, I have a point of order. This is, are we on executive reports? I believe this is not germane, since this is executive report, not Q&A on a particular piece of legislation.
But it wasn't non-germane for the previous question and answer that has been going on for the last 10 minutes?
So basically what Kyle's saying is this is executive reports. We're not here to talk about the rail jam in specific. If we want to talk about the rail jam, we need to go and start up a motion to begin a discussion and debate or question and answer on the rail jam. The previous ones at least started out as executive reports, which is why I let it continue on. But we're at the point now where Ashton has not even given a report. He's just talked about the rail jam, which is not what this time is meant for.
I would be open for a motion to do that, but I don't believe at this point in time that's what it's germane.
Just pull up the current events that we're funding otherwise. One sec here. Okay, just some upcoming events for Visa. Since I said I'd tell you all about them. We have, let's see here, Ascent coming up. That is a like a concert type thing. We have Arabic Culture and Language Club, but that's pending. That's there's some contingencies with that. They were asking that they get a bigger room. Right now, their room only fits 36, so we asked if they get a bigger room, could fund it. And then IEEE, an engineering organization, is hosting their networking with recruiters and Rail Jam, of course. Multi-Faith and Belief is hosting a speaker to talk about different ways to manage conversation. E-Days, also contingent that we get a quote, but that's also an engineering thing. Clarinet Club is going to play some more music in March 20th or April 20th, so that should be a good day. And we got Passover, and then LA Days, which is like a landscape architecture type thing in April. So that's all. Any questions on that? Okay, fantastic. Thanks.
Point of clarification, if someone who is speaking does ask for questions and then people ask them, is that considered germane, or do we need the speaker to then really designate who?
It is germane so long as it is answering questions specific to what they're talking about.
Hello, cuties. I hope you're having a good week before spring break. We all deserve a rest, so I'm excited that that's going up. A few announcements for y'all. The stickers are in, guys. They're so cute, so I'll give them all to you guys. And if you want like an extra one for a friend or something like that, just come into my office and grab one. They're really cute, and then they go along with a little like myth busting, stigma busting quarter sheet. And so our one for March is going to be around environmental justice. A little fun fact is that everything that comes through the pantry and Rams Against Hunger is rescued food waste. And so Rams Against Hunger is like a last stop before a bunch of like unnecessary food waste gets put into the landfill. And then they also get to take all of that like all of that packaging and stuff, and they dispose of it in the correct way. So they actually get to like compost the stuff that should be composted. They actually get to like recycle the flimsy plastic that you can't like recycle in other stuff. So that's really exciting. The other thing I want to let y'all know about is that Department of Health and Wellness has decided to supplement the pantry over spring break. Rams Against Hunger is closed over spring break, and so our pocket pantry is going to be stocked with a bunch of extra food. We've already started stocking it. So if y'all are hungry tonight, go grab some snacks. There's some good stuff in there. And then I try to accommodate some people's requests. So there's like oranges, there's some fresh produce in there. There's a lot of protein. There's hygiene products, which I haven't seen in our oh my God, I can't talk today, our pocket pantry yet. So that's really exciting. And then as the year continues, I'm hoping to kind of transition that space into a basic needs center. So again, like bringing some more hygiene products, other basic needs that we don't necessarily think about. Narcan, fentanyl testing trips and stuff like that. So if you guys have considerations or things that you want to see in our basic needs center, please come talk to me and let me know. We'll make it happen. And then also, okay, get your calendars out because I'm gonna ask y'all to mark a few events. Potted Plant Day is April 17th from 10 to 2. It's around cannabis harm reduction. It's really exciting. We're gonna do like a harm reduction component, a social equity component around cannabis within Colorado and also institutes of higher education. And then we're also gonna have like a CSU policy, like little rundown so people know what the policy is on campus and also in the larger Fort Collins community. And then the last thing I just sent in y'all's teams, so you should have gotten a notification. If you didn't, this is a great time to turn your notifications on in the settings in Teams. But that's for Project Homeless Connect. That's April 19th. It's a Friday from 10 to 2. It's a project that we have worked with Homeward Alliance for like the last 15 or 20 years. It's a really long running project. And it is basically you get paired with a community member who's facing housing insecurity in the Fort Collins or Northern Colorado area, and you get to walk them through a bunch of resources. So we work with Homeward Alliance. They're an awesome nonprofit in Fort Collins. And I would love to see y'all there. So there's 2 different sessions. You could do 10 to 12 or 12 to 2. You could also mark both. And we'd love to see you there all day long. And then also you will get a university excused absence if you choose to participate. So just so you know, that will be available to y'all. So love to see y'all at these events. Let me know if you want to plan anything with like Potted Plant Day or be a part of that process because I'd love to have y'all's input. And I'll come around and give everybody stickers. Thank you for your time. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. And now we move on to judicial reports.
Hi, friends. Happy Hump Day. It's Katie, your elections manager. Just here to remind you, the official candidate list will be coming out this Friday at 5 p.m. Our wonderful clerk, Maddie, actually will be the one responsible for that. So everybody should thank her for all of her hard work that she's putting in. Besides that, as another reminder, as you all know, by the time that we get back from spring break, which means the next Senate hearing, the 20th of March, apologies, will be the Senate session that we will be doing, the vote of confidence. Thank you. I apologize. It's been a tough Wednesday for me. I don't know if it's been for y'all, exams. Anyways, and also committee or campaigning will be starting on Monday at 8 a.m. I think that that's everything that I have for you. Thank you all so much for all of your patience during this wonderful campaign time. And take care of yourselves. Ooh, shocked me. Okay, so I only have an opinion request from our wonderful, beautiful chair, Trout. And the questions were, 1, can a member of the executive branch or judicial branch run for a caucus chair position? Second one, if an executive branch or judicial branch member obtains a caucus chair position, does that give that member floor rights in the Senate? And the third question, if an executive branch or judicial branch member obtains a caucus chair position, does that member become a member of the legislative cabinet? Great questions. We voted to hear it. And because of spring break, we're gonna have like a little pause in between. So y'all have 2 weeks to send briefs. And like before, I'll send those questions into the chat so everyone can have a look. Please send me your briefs. I value your opinions so much. But yeah, that's all I have. Very much good luck on midterms, and I hope you finish the week strong and enjoy spring break.
No, there's like kind of reports. Honestly, this is for people who aren't really here. But like, if you don't send like a little email to either me, Ava, or Parker about not being able to be here, you will get an excuse, which will result in a strike. which we'll probably be sending out by the end of this week for anyone who wasn't here, who hasn't been here, along with committee, because there's still people not going to committee, so please go to committee. Thank you.
Yes, so not speaking as your parliamentarian, but as someone who is an engineer, I would like to invite you all to come to Engineering Days on April 19th. So after you finish planting a tree, feel free to come by, have some soda, and look at all the engineering exhibits.
I don't really think I have anything to say this week. Maddie does though.
Have a fun spring break.
Just be here next Wednesday. We're gonna have a lovely vote of confidence, which same difference in 2 Wednesdays. Yeah, enjoy your spring break. Committee abstracts. Turn on to.
Most amount of people we've ever had in DEI in a hot minute. And we saw the bill amending the previous bill. Thank you.
Thanks.
But yeah, and then it got endorsed by my committee. Come to committee.
Church up.
Slay. We've also been getting a lot of folks coming into our committee, or our caucus, so like that's super slay as well. Also something that our caucus will start working on. One, we're going to be revitalizing how we are looking at reports, and we're going to be going back to looking at DORA buttons throughout the rest of the semester. We're still trying to figure out what that process is going to look like and what are, if we do a report at the end of the year, what that kind of looks like. So we're in active discussions about that. April is Autism Awareness Month, and we will be working with the Disability Club and the Department of Health and Wellness to host some events. We're still in the planning process of those, but if you are interested in that, please reach out to me or our incredible, lovely, they're not here, Director of Health, Georgia. Just want to make sure they weren't like behind me. But yeah, so if you have any questions on that or interested in that, please feel free to let us know. With that, I yield.
Chair Taylor.
This week in committee, we had no legislation, so we just talked about some bills and stuff that some people have been making. So please come to committee next time. That's Monday, 12 to 1. I yield.
Thank you. Senator and Associate Reports. Chair Oswald. A couple of things. Number one, the CSU drag show is April 14th. I just lost the time. Oh no, I wasn't doing from 6 to 9:30 p.m. in the University Ballroom. It's gonna be a fun time. I know my tone isn't projecting that. I'm really sleepy. I'm so sorry. Also, save the date for April 26th. That's the date for Lavender graduation. If you are a queer student who is graduating, please go. You get some, I was gonna say free swag, but I actually don't know what you get except for a lavender cord. I'll find out this year when I go to graduate. Also, we are going to be presenting at the Feminist Queer Empowerment Conference, which is the 23rd of March. I know the month. And then on a completely unrelated note to the Pride Center, on March 22nd from 6:30 to 10 p.m. in the university in the LSC Grand Ballroom, it is the 3rd annual Ramadan Iftar. Please, please, please come. I put a lot of work into that, and I would like to see y'all there. But please come, be in community, especially because following the next couple weeks after that, we enter April, and April is a PETA Swana Heritage Month, which means APAC is going to be kicking off a lot of events for PETA Swana Heritage Month. Thank you, I yield. Associate Camper.
Hey, also, I'm going to be posting a link to the resolution that was mentioned earlier this evening. It's kind of been in a way, a place where it's evolving. We will be looking at that when we get back from spring break. You already, oh, okay, just kidding. Kevin already posted it. Okay, awesome. So take some time to look at that at your leisure. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. I'd like this to be a collaborative effort. These are concerns that came from many different places, not just one person's perspective. And we'd like to keep that in mind. Also, something that was brought to my attention was how to be solution focused. So this might evolve to talk about how we involve multiple branches when events can spend over a certain amount of money. And I think that that can really help bridge some gaps in our organization. We also met a planning group for bringing the cultural review board back. So we've got, if you're interested in the culture of ASCSU and how to make this space better, and what that could look like, please let me know. We'd love to have, we're really trying to build this interbranch connection instead of just being like, it's executive's fault. No, it's Senate's fault. Nobody blames anything on judicial ever because they're awesome. But we're trying to really make the culture better here and more collaborative. So while this resolution's taking a stance, it doesn't necessarily mean that taking a stance should alienate you from your peers. And also, we're going to be working to make this space more collaborative. So if you have any thoughts or feelings or want to be involved in that process, please reach out to myself or Letty or Vice President Silverheart or Enoch Benanti. We're sort of organizing right now to figure out what the needs are. I think Alex is, I stepped out to use the restroom, maybe he spoke about it, that he was putting together a little survey to see what the needs were in the community, how often we want to meet and what we want that to look like. But please, 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 please give us your input so we can make this space better. Thank you. With that, I yield.
Thank you, Senator Butler. Hey everyone, all right, just another leisure-filled, stress-free event from back. So tomorrow, Thursday at 8:30 to 10:30, we are having our skate night. Woo! All right, it will be located at Rollerland. Just a little heads up, it's free. Everyone's favorite word, free. So yeah, transportation would be provided if you need so. Just, come to back. Let us know if you want to do this. It's gonna be fun. Who doesn't love skating? Come on, guys. Spring break is next week. Just like a little something just to lead into the fun. All right, thank you. I yield.
Any other Senator associate reports? Seeing none, we're going to move into confidence business. And the parliamentarian, please put 2 hours on the confidence clock, meeting with, looks 5302. And when you get the chance, could you also read the abstract?
Yes. Word. Close your eyes.
Let's all look at all the fuckers. Girls in his DMs for real.
This Lex will fix discrepancies between the BSOF bylaws and the ASCSU Constitution.
Okay, I don't really remember how this goes, but do you want me to talk about the whole thing or focus on sections or?
It's your presentation.
Okay. So main thing is, so the bylaws and the Constitution have like a different definition of general membership. And mainly the reason this came about was, so I was looking at just the Constitution for like fiscal reasons, because I have another Lex coming up for like fiscal responsibility, just to help the accountants out. And then I was like researching the Constitution. I was like, oh, the general membership is different. So then I started asking why that the general membership has a different definition. And apparently 3 years ago, Senate thought that this new membership would be better just to get more student involvement. And the process at the time had like a lot of senators being required to be, like if a senator leaves, they have to get like re-ratified by Senate, which can like slow timelines down. Or like obviously it has to get re-ratified, but like chosen by Senate, and like it can slow down the process initially for like how to, if student orgs are asking and then we don't have quorum, stuff like that. But that's one thing we've been focusing on for recruiting this year. So we basically have most of our board interviewed and ready for
ratification for this year to be on the next year. And so we reached out and we got 2 senators, 2 exec, and then four or five students. So we really want like collaboration from all realms. But and when I first became chair of BSOF, I asked my advisor, I was like, so like what kind of people should they're like from what branches should I hire and stuff like that. And he told me to look at the bylaws because that's what they've been doing the past 3 years. So I think like the main reason I'm bringing this up is just to, you know, correct the discrepancy since there is a discrepancy. Yeah. And then we can go through like and then here's the main changes. Also, so the things I added was shall have the power to govern their membership through their own bylaws. That's all I added. And I just took everything out. But I also think senators should still have the ability to call for like a legislative resignation. So I left that in there. But everything else is pretty much covered by our bylaws as well. And then if you have any like opinions on how our membership should go or anything like that, we are changing the bylaws again this year. So I'll definitely like take that into consideration and bring it up in BSOF. So if you think more senators should be required, stuff like that, I'm definitely down to hear that. And we mainly wanted a lot of senators because I think it's like a valuable voice to have. So that's why we reached out a lot to get on the next board, and we got 2. So yeah. All right.
So I have a question for you. Does this mean that there will be no restrictions on the maximum number of BSOF members?
It states in the bylaws, you still need, either way, you need 10 people, but it's just like defined differently. But yeah, main thing is just BSOFs, you can have more like students who aren't in ASCSU, and then Constitution, you need more senators. But like I said, yeah. Any other questions or?
Great. Seeing none, we'll send this to internal. Indeed, everyone's sort of vegetarian. That's fine.
It's Alexa, we'll go to everything.
Oh, yeah, true, it's Alexa, so it'll come back through.
Cool. Thank you.
And with that, we move on to ending roll call. Chairman Auntie.
I'd like to motion to use the beginning roll call as an ending roll call and that anyone who came in during this period to be added to the attendance list.
Second. Is there any dissent? Seeing none, we're gonna move on to committee reports. If we start with internal.
Come to committee 12 to 1 on Monday.
Vice Chair.
Don't come to committee because I'm not gonna be here next week. None of us are. I am.
University's not here. DEI.
I mean, I'm still holding my committee on Friday. Come to that, we'll be looking at the Lex. Also, still taking requests for time changes. Right now, we're still 12 to 1. I yield.
Caucus reports. Why does it keep turning back to women's caucus? I swear I put it every time. Accessibility.
Just really quick, I know some folks have worked on I know folks in past have worked on disability legislation. If you want, the accessibility caucus to review any legislation, and this could just be like something that's specifically accessibility related, or this kind of deals with accessibility or anything like that, please feel free to send that to me. Just what's on the agenda for me and my caucus, please send that in by Friday at 5 at the absolute latest, just so I have access to it. And then it can be put on the agenda and folks can read about it ahead of time. So if that's something that you're interested in, please send it to me for it to be in the caucus. And I know that's the same with the other caucuses as well. So with that, I yield.
And with that, we adjourn. I'll see you all on March 20th.